first of all, you've had a little bit of a break given the cup last weekend. Just, how have you sort of used that time to sort of gather yourselves together and maybe get a little bit of a rest given the run of games that you got?
Going into that week, in the build up to the cup weekend last weekend, we had a number of players that were struggling with little knocks and niggles, so I suppose it gives you a good opportunity to try and get those guys a bit of rehab. Obviously we weren't happy with being out of the cup. We would have much rather been involved in those fixtures at the weekend, but it certainly did give us the chance to work on one or two things. We had one or two players coming back from injury, the likes of Alan Campbell, who obviously hasn't played a lot of minutes prior to the Kilmarnock game, so it gave us a chance to work with those guys, try and get the fitness levels up, and try and make sure that we're well prepared going into these last 8 games prior to the split.
How is your team news now then? Have you got a lot of people back fit?
We've got decent numbers to choose from. Craig Sibbald is probably the only one at the moment where it's just not quite ready for this weekend's fixture, albeit we're confident that Craig will be back at the early part of next week. We're going to have to be patient with him, as you would expect given the length of time that he's been out, but it'll be nice to have him back in with the group training full time, and hopefully over the next few weeks we'll be able to get him some minutes on the park.
And what's your thoughts heading into this game against Celtic, who of course had a huge game last night against Bayern Munich? How do you think that might affect them going into the game?
Well, firstly, I thought it was a really good performance from Celtic, both in and out of possession. First half they had to soak up a lot of pressure, but I thought they were really disciplined and organised, and second half, certainly into the latter stages of the game, caused Bayern Munich, one or two problems. I think getting that goal to make it 2-1 definitely keeps the tie alive. So that does then, make us wonder what does the selection look like on Saturday. So we, been trying to preempt it and trying to predict one or two things, but we'll just need to wait to see what the team lines are before kick-off. But we know, regardless of what changes Brendan Rodgers decides to make, those players coming into the team on Saturday are of real quality, international quality players, and we know it's going to be an extremely difficult fixture.
As you say, whatever team you face, it's going to be tough, but how important do you feel it is on the back of the past 2 defeats in the league that you do try to get something from the game?
Look, our form against Celtic has been respectable, I would say. Obviously with the draw at Tannadice, and the last time out at Parkhead, we were very much in the game. You know what you're going to get when you go to Parkhead. I'd love to think that we would be able to do to Celtic what Bayern Munich did to them last night in the first half, but I don't think that's realistic. You expect Celtic to have 70% of the ball. What we do without the ball is really important in terms of our discipline and our shape, and we've done that for large spells in the game last time out. We actually caused our own problems, I felt, for the first goal, messing around with the ball on the 18-yard line when we should have made a better decision in that moment, and we could have got the half-time at 0-0. The second half, I thought we gave a really good account of ourselves. We were able to get that a little bit higher up the pitch. We were a bit more aggressive with our press. We actually did have a few half-decent chances at 1-0, but we got done with the sucker punch late on in the game because we were committing that many bodies forward. So we know, we know that we're going to be underdogs going into it, but we have to believe that we're capable of causing an upset, and that's certainly the mindset within the group.
How pleased are you with the position you find yourselves in at the moment, in 3rd place in the league? And while the league is very tight, we do see a lot of quite different results popping up here and there, but are you quite happy, with how you've been doing so far to find yourselves still in that position?
Well, yeah, of course, I think if you'd have told any Dundee United supporter or member of staff here that we were going to be sitting, 3rd in the table mid-February, I'm not sure many people out there would have believed you. So, we've done really, really well to put ourselves in this position. I think we've earned the right to be here. We are disappointed with recent results. We've had a few defeats. But I think every team over the course of the season, out with, probably Celtic, have suffered on occasions. The defeats that we've had have all been, quite close encounters that could have went either way. But we're still very, very positive. We've never, for 1 minute, took our eye off the ball and just assumed that we're going to finish where we are right now in the table. We always believed there was a lot of football to be played. I said months ago that the likes of Hearts and Hibs would come good, because I always felt they were in a false position, and that is happening right now as we speak. So it's very competitive, the league. It's all to play for still, and top six now is a genuine ambition of ours, to try and stay there, and then if we can finish any higher than that, I think that would be a huge bonus for this group of players.
How confident do you feel within the squad that you've got that you can potentially maintain that third place? It's obviously going to be very difficult, but do you feel you have it in this squad to be able to do that?
Listen, we're we've done great to put ourselves in this position. I don't want to put where I think we're going to finish. I think there's a lot of managers and teams out there that would have something to say about that. There's lots of good teams. There's teams there that have spent a considerable sum of money in the January window to strengthen, to try and catch us. That luxury, unfortunately, is not available to us at the moment, but I believe the squad that we put together in the summer is good enough to maintain the challenge and to put up to those teams that are trying to get us, to make sure that we stay in the position that we're in. But at the beginning of the season, our main motive was to try and get enough points to stay in the league. I'm confident now that we're going to avoid relegation, but there's still a lot to do to make sure we achieve top six, and we're not getting carried away, we're not getting ahead of ourselves. We still need a number of points to make sure that we secure that, and we've given ourselves a good chance of doing it. And
are you looking ahead to the summer in terms of how you sort of strengthen further? How difficult is that to do when you're not sure where in the league you might end up?
No, listen, we're obviously being professional behind the scenes, and we're continuously looking at the recruitment process and scouring the market, both here in the UK and in Europe. And when the transfer window does open up in the summer, I'm confident that we'll have some really good targets to go after. But right now, the focus is on the players that we have at the club, the group that we have available to us, and just to make sure we go and finish the job off in a positive fashion.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You sort of already spoke about the fact that obviously Celtic coming off a European game, and over the years as both a player and a manager, how much of a difference do you notice when you go into a game against Celtic or Rangers or whoever else, once they've played a European game, when you face them the weekend, how much of a change do you feel that there actually is in the game that you find?
Well, listen, I think Celtic have done great to get to this stage of the competition. I think the Celtic players know when they go to a club of that stature that they're going to have to be able to play a huge amount of games season to season. Domestically, they're always involved in every competition to the latter stages, and now in the Champions League, they find themselves in kind of uncharted waters. They haven't been this far for a number of years, so it does put big demands on the squad. But I think Brendan Rodgers and the staff have put together a really good, strong squad of players. They've got huge competition for places. Of course, Brendan will have one eye on next week on the return leg against Bayern, and more than likely will make one or two changes. What they are, we'll have to wait and see. But if Jota comes into the team, for argument's sake, that's certainly not going to weaken it. Young McKeown in the middle of the park, I think, has had a terrific season. There's so many other changes that they could make, the likes of Liam Scales coming in. So whatever team they start the game with is going to be a really, really tough opponent for us, and we'll try and make sure we're prepared for every different scenario, and hopefully the outcome is in our favour.
And just finally, obviously 8 games to go now until the split. Just how you feel about the position that you're going into, and the fact that realistically top 6 is not that far away from being secured, and then looking ahead further as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've obviously analysed the last number of years in terms of what the points tally has looked like on average over the last 10 years for top 6, and 43 kind of tends to be the magic number, albeit teams have got in the past with less. I think Dundee a couple of seasons ago was 39 points, I think. But yeah, I mean, look, we think that we probably need to win another 2 or 3 games to try and secure top 6. Now, that's a hell of a lot easier said than done, because some of the fixtures that we face in the coming weeks are certainly not ones that we would look at and consider them easy. But we are going to fight right till the end. we don't want there to be an anticlimax. We want to just keep pushing and try and maintain that feel good factor within the Dundee United support and in our dressing room. And if we can get those 2 or 3 wins and that does secure the top 6, then I think it'll be a great achievement. And once that happens, then we can reach for the stars.
First of all, will Celtic away this weekend? Just give me your thoughts ahead of that one.
Just excited to obviously get into it. They obviously had a game through the week, so we're not entirely sure what it's going to look like, but we're just going to go there with the same game plan that we've gone through the week, and just excited to get going with it.
Do you expect to see much difference, from Celtic, especially coming off of a European game, especially considering as well the size of the squad that they have?
They obviously have a big squad and they have the ability to make changes, but it's not going to affect what we do. It's going to be the same game plan at the end of the day, and we're just going to go there and try and take what we can, whether it's a point or a win. We're obviously not going there with any other attitude, so we'll just treat it like any other game.
Just what do you need to do going out there to try and get a positive result for Dundee United?
Stick to the game plan. Everyone knows it's difficult to go there and try and get something, but we're going to have full belief. We just need to be solid, go there and stick to what we're good at, which is being a good team, staying in games, and we know we've got a threat going forward as well, so hopefully everything comes together.
Bit of a difficult run obviously in the last 3 games. Is it just focus now trying to bounce back?
Yeah, exactly. I think we obviously had a week off last weekend, so it's kind of delayed the you always want to get into the next game when you've maybe lost the last one, so it's been a little bit frustrating in that sense, but that's what it's about. It's just getting back on a positive run again, and we've put together quite a few positive runs through the season, so hopefully we repeat that and go on a good one now.
And I suppose the message might be, the manager said a few times, obviously been a great season so far, but kind of stress not to get too high after a couple of bad results. I suppose the stress is all not to get too low either.
Yeah, we don't put any pressure on ourselves. We all have these expectations within the change room, and whatever the expectation is with outside the change room, we don't let that affect us. We just stick to what we've set for the season, what we believe we can achieve, and that's what it's about really.
And obviously you'd rather been in the Scottish Cup, but you had that week off, and do you feel it's a little bit beneficial, especially going into Celtic away, to have a little bit of extra preparation time?
Yeah, it was frustrating, like I said, not having the game, but at the same time it comes with a positive as well, in the sense that we should all be fresh, we should all be ready to go, and who's not going to be up for a game, away at Celtic? So we're all looking forward to it, and we all feel fresh and ready to go.
Thank you.
Well, what are you expecting from Celtic at the weekend, given their Champions League exploits last night? You're hoping they might be a bit tired from that?
They might be, but like I said, they've got a big squad. They're able to make changes, but even when they make those changes, they bring in good quality, and we know that. We've watched plenty of games this season. We've played them twice, so we know what they're going to bring. They're going to bring lots of possession, intense, not give you a yard. So we've dealt with it well at times through the season. We obviously got a point at Tannadice, and we played all right there, but I think we can go there and get something.
You obviously know how tough it's going to be, but how important is it that you sort of put the last few results behind you and move on from that, given you are in 3rd position, but the league is so tight as well?
Yeah, well, I don't think we've ever this season let a negative result or a small little run kind of snowball. We've got good characters in the changing room. You can see that in games when we're in difficult moments. We bounce back and we respond. So we're just going to be looking to do the same thing. Like I said, the league is it's tight, but we don't look at that. We just kind of focus on the 3 points, the point wherever we can pick it up, and if we do what we're good at and we do our jobs until the end of the season, we should pick up a good amount of points.
And a point or more against Celtic, how beneficial could that be going forward?
Yeah, every point matters, and it doesn't matter who it comes against, whether it's top, bottom of the league. It's the point's a point, and we obviously got one at Tannadice, and at the end of the season we'll look back and probably looking at ones that we maybe should have got, but we'll also be looking at the results, which they almost mean a little bit more, because sometimes you go there and the expectations are against you, but within the change room, we've got full belief.
And just for you personally, how pleased have you been with how things have gone at Dundee United since you came here?
Happy, yeah. It's obviously the season's not done yet, so I'm hoping to get better. I've enjoyed being in the league, being in the team, and it's I like to think it's been a positive experience so far, and long may it continue.
And you've obviously had a really positive impact on the team, but do you yourself feel that your football has, benefited from playing here as well?
Yeah, I've got freedom to go and express myself, but it's all about the kind of the solid base that we have as a team first, and I think I've learned quite a lot defensively personally, and being in a good unit, which apart from the odd game, we've been solid, and I think that shows in how many goals we've conceded over the stretch. So I've learned a lot, and I think my game has kind of come on since I've been up here, and different experiences, whether it's going away to Rangers, Celtic, or you're playing at home and you're in a gritty game and the ball's in the air for 90% of it. It's you've got to deal with all these different factors, and I've definitely come out the other side, I think, a better player. So hopefully it stays that way, and I continue in a bit of decent form.
And as you say, there's still a way to go this season. What do you hope to achieve come the end of it?
I don't think anyone will hide from the fact that top six is kind of something we'll aim for, but it won't be a pressure moment if we to lose a game here and there. It'll be a come on, just stay steady. We perfectly believe in what we've got in the change room. We go into games with full belief, and so let's see how many points we can pick up and see where we finish. It's we'll fight for everything, as we've shown through the season, and it'll just be let's see where we can get to.
When you made the decision to come to Dundee United, was it quite a tough one, and do you feel it's now been verified sort of in your head?
Yeah, it was a tough one when you look at it. It's a complete unknown, as it always is, but we've gone to a different league. I didn't know what it'd be like in terms of testing myself, and it's been a positive experience. I don't look back and regret anything. There's obviously always going to be hard times and the ups and the downs, but I think in general it's been a good decision for me personally, and hopefully it looks that way as well when people are watching and can see how much I'm enjoying it being a